Okay, hello, how are you doing? Okay, in this video we're going to talk about Salafism and Salafists and who is the Salafist. What is Salafism actually? Salafism in the simple word, if someone like not familiar with this expression, Salafism I can say Orthodox Muslims. That's what I can say. Okay, it's some kind of group into Islam, Sunni Islam especially, and they are really try to make like purification to the Islam teaching and to understand the Islam as it was in the time of the Prophet Muhammad. They say Quran and Quran was Sunnah بفهم سلف الأمة. It means like Quran and Sunnah with the understanding of the early Muslims, Salaf al-Ummah, early Muslims. The word Salaf, it means ancestors, it's like Aslaf. Aslaf means ancestors. So they mean with Salaf like early Muslims in the 3 centuries, the time of the Prophet Muhammad, and the 2 centuries after that. So they try to purify the Islam and to make it just as this time. And they have roots, they have roots even in the Abbasid Khilafah and the emperor of Abbasiyin. If you go to the history, back then there is a man called Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and I think he was the start of this kind of thinking, because before that, the clerics, Muslim clerics, was a lot of them in other schools, maybe would relay not just in texts, maybe their opinion, maybe because they were most more open to a lot of translation to any other like thoughts and religion. Maybe we talk later about that. No, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he was like, well, let's go back, and keep hold on hadith, and he was even like ask you to rely on hadith even if it is not really acceptable, or from not trusted way, because in hadith they have some way to know what's the trusted hadith, acceptable hadith, to take it or not take it. No, for him, even if you don't find any acceptable hadith, which is called the hadith sahih, so they and you have any hadith, so you just rely on this hadith. Actually, I watched it like some days ago, like some video from a channel called Let's Talk Religion. He was talking about Salafism. It was excellent. It was excellent video. I was really impressed, to see some English speaker. Because for me, I'm not used to that, so that. And he really understands Salafism like that, and he just dig into it. Because unfortunately, I see some other maybe channels, unlike that, like Kobito. Sorry, this is channel I admire so much, but when they talk like about some Islamic topics, it's not really accurate, some shallow information and like that. But no, this channel is talk religion. He really studied deeply, he really know it, Salafism. Actually, his video is great. I'm gonna just make this video to comment on 2 things. I think he missed it, I think maybe the reason, I don't know, maybe he because he's away or whatever. But for me, as a person who grew up among all this, I was born among all this, and I came from from this background, from the Muslim world and like that. So maybe I would like to add or to mention what he missed in the video. The 2 issues that the question, how Salafists have this impact in the Muslim world, and how when you make search about any Islamic topic, you would find the websites mostly for Salafists. And he says that they provide good data, for you if you study and like that. But lately there is some other schools, emerge, but still, Salafists, they are the loudest voice. Even in the beginning, they were a small group, in history, unlike that. And he explained it how they gradually be like that, and I think they became like louder, like 200 years ago. 200 years ago, when the Saudi Arabia kingdom, when they emerged by Muhammad bin Saud, they adopted the da'wah, or doctrine of Salafism, and by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab in Saudi Arabia. And but they are still, even 200 years ago, they weren't this loud, unlike that. And he was trying to explain that from maybe the Salafist speech is attractive to people somehow, for that its impact. But no, he missed something, and I would say No, you forget the what is called Islamic Revolution, like of Khomeini, in Iran, So when Khomeini came to Iran, after they get rid of the Shah in Iran, and they make the slogan of Islamic Revolution, and they were like they want to export Islamic to revolution to other countries. So as a reaction in the Sunni world, because as you know, Khomeini is Shi'i, in the Sunni world, like in Saudi Arabia and other countries, as a reaction for that they try to protect themselves, but claim no, you are not Muslims, you are not Muslim more than us, and they start to adopt what is called Sahwa. It's like awaken. Sahwa means like awakening, awake or awaking. Uh, this they call it Sahwa Islamic awakening or awakening, and it's mainly Salafist books, Salafist centers. Saudi Arabia start to fund some centers, even in the Western world, even in Egypt, for some political reasons, they start to, in the time of Sadat, he start to get out of the prison a lot of Islamists and Salafists gradually, and this idea starts to be in the society, and they gradually start to take over, in university, and he did that because there was a Cold War back at this time, and Sadat he has a lot of enemies from Marxists, so he wanted to get rid of them, by Islamists, and unfortunately he get assassinated by Islamists themselves, which he said, and I don't know, by the way, a lot of governments do the same mistakes, like over and over and over, like that, So yeah, so that's what happened. So that I think this was a huge factor why this speech of Salafists are dominate, because they are funded. They are funded. There are some governments that support them, like Saudi Arabia. Even the biggest, one of the biggest Islamic website on internet, like Islam Web, it's been supported by the Qatar government. So it's been like, yeah, because it be like funded or supported by some governments. So this is the answer. It is not about the Salafist speech itself. I think that's what he missed in the video. Sorry, the video gonna be finished, so I can't say. There is a lot of details I want to say, but this seems that it's gonna be finished. Other point I want to say fast before the video finish. It was he was explaining about violence. Jihadists actually they are Salafists, but they are a small group in Salafists. Not all Salafists are jihadists, but all jihadists are Salafists. I don't know if you got this. And he explained why most of Salafists don't tend to violence, and he says that most of Salafists not interested in politics and like that, and they just focus and purify Islam from the film. You know what happened later, and like that. Actually, it is not very accurate, unlike that. Actually, there is different form of Salafists, and if the majority of Salafists, and I'm not talking about Muslim, I talk about Salafists, someone who adopted this ideology. These people that adopt this ideology, if they are not involved into violence, that doesn't mean that they don't believe in violence. Actually, all Salafists believe in violence. Take that from me, and like that, because they all believe, for example, in the hadith that Muslims were one day they will conquer Rome. They will invade Rome or they conquer Rome. By the end of the day, they were gonna be like a war between Muslims and Jews. Even Jews were like hide behind the trees and rocks and like that. And why some Salafists don't be into violence? They are disagree with the jihadists for the timing and for conditions. Some Salafists say that we can't do jihad now because there is no Khalifa or there is no the right condition. Maybe because we are not strong enough, so maybe we work in purify our religion first, be strong, and okay, we would go. Some of them we say no, we obey the authority, Wali al-Amr, the president or the king or whatever. We must obey the authority for now till see God what gonna do. Some of them say that yes, these governments they are infidels. We believe in jihad and everything, and they just wait for the right moment. it's different forms. Some of them believe in go to election, like Hizb Noor in Egypt. They're Salafists and they go to election and they go to the parliament. Finally, before they weren't believe in such a thing. So it's different forms. But even at least theoretically, most of them believe in the texts that incite violence and like that. So if most of them don't do violence, that doesn't mean that they don't believe in violence. And I don't talk about the majority of Muslims. Actually, majority of Muslims that they are not. By the way, majority of Muslims, unfortunately, like in Egypt, impacted by Salafist speech. But most of them they do like cherry picking. They don't take all now. They don't take everything like that. But Salafists, no, they take everything, and it's just about timing and the other issue. And maybe I continue in other videos to explain more. Thank you very much.